someone approached me. I was probably been playing on the tour for 5 years, and they talked about, oh, you've got a really great drop shot. I really want to play your drop shot. I was like, brilliant. Okay, of course I can teach this. I completely hashed it. I had no idea how to get my point across to something I did very naturally. And I remember that lesson so clearly. The guy came at the end and he gave me the money. And I actually turned around and said, I'm sorry, I can't take your money because I've actually ruined your drop shot. I've completely destroyed your game. And I've told you so much information that's not even relevant. But it was probably one of my most formative lessons that got me reflecting a lot, thinking, yeah, you know what? If I'm going to teach someone, I need to be able to get my point across in a simple ish kind of way that is going to be impactful. There's a really amazing book called Make It Stick. It's all about how we learn. It's going from
Mhm.
children to adults, and it's a brilliant, brilliant book. What I actually challenge my players to do a lot, linked to this book, is come up with analogies. So if I'm coaching someone, I actually get my players to try come up with them themselves. It's a really
Smart.
powerful anchoring exercise, and then I can just mention one of those words in that analogy. Ah, right. Whether with the classic backhand, where the player does that kind of that swinging wrist, where they bulge their wrist in the wrong direction. I call it the rusty swinging gate. It's kind of because you're not cocking your wrist. You're basically just like swinging your wrist like it's a gate in the wind. And me, I'll just say gate, for example. And the player will like, right, I've just done it again. I think good coaching is about good storytelling. If you can tell the story well and take your players down a path, so to speak, that's a really big skill that I encourage coaches to do a lot. And look, it takes time. Like, when say you've coached or you've received lessons, you can probably remember some of the stories more than the actual technical details of said thing you're working on. And yeah, I've had players come to me, whatever, 10 years later going, oh, I remember that whole elephant trunk thing we talked about with like the backhand lob. If you're in the front, you're trying to get the elephant trunk, spraying water on the back. It was like a silly passing comment, but it stuck with that player. I hate to say this, but I've definitely put a lot of people off the game. I would almost say to the point of when I
Mhm.
was a young coach and really getting into it. And again, it was probably the I was still in the pro mindset for my own personal development. I was going, right, well, I'm training like this and I'm pushing. So when I would turn up at a school and coach a group of kids at a school, if they weren't really buying into what I was doing or they weren't pushing themselves, man, I would get really upset and really go harder, really pushing, 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 that you lose the joy and the love and the reasons why you're playing. It was probably one of my most formative lessons that got me reflecting a lot, thinking, yeah, you know what, if I'm going to teach someone, I need to be able to get my point across in a simple ish kind of way that is going to be impactful. Good coaching is about good storytelling. If you can tell the story well and take your players down a path, so to speak, that's a really big skill. And, so I think that really got me interested in coaching. That, like I said, was while I was still a pro player. And yeah, throughout the years, I've then probably honed it and chipped away at that storytelling craft in regard to the communication and getting the points across. But yeah, I definitely think it's then a skill that got honed over the years because of that one first lesson on that forehand drop that I completely botched.